For centuries, the human story was written under a sky we thought we understood. We looked at the dark spaces between the stars and the quiet reaches beyond the giant planets and saw only a vast, empty graveyard. To our ancestors, and even to the astronomers of the last century, the outer edges of our solar system were a desolate wasteland of frozen, jagged rocks, the attic of the sun's domain, where nothing of consequence ever truly happened. We imagined a silent, boring periphery, a cold border where the leftovers of creation went to sleep in a perpetual, lightless slumber. But as our eyes grew sharper and our robotic scouts ventured further into the deep freeze, that comfortable illusion of a static void shattered. The truth is far more terrifying and far more beautiful than anything we could have dreamt of in our ignorance. In the shadows of the Kuiper Belt, billions of miles from the warmth of our hearth, there exists a world that defies every rule we thought we knew about how a planet is born and how it survives. It is not a perfect sphere, nor a simple lump of stone. Instead, imagine a giant, spinning slab of crystalline glass drifting through the void. Picture a sky that looks like bleeding rubies and a heart made of toxic chemicals, frozen into a shape so distorted it looks like a celestial projectile fired from the dawn of time. This is not a place of peace. It is a monument to cosmic violence. It is a world of contradictions, of impossible speed and fragile glass. This is the story of the exiled king, a monarch of the shadows that rules over a court of shattered debris, spinning with such frantic energy that it threatens to tear itself apart at every second. The cosmos is within us. We are made of star stuff. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself. And today, we turn that cosmic eye toward one of the most enigmatic residents of our solar system. Welcome to the first chapter of our special series on the 5 worlds that changed our understanding of the heavens, the dwarf planets. These are the rebels of the solar system, the misfits that refuse to fit into our neat little categories. Why does this world spin so fast that it has flattened into an egg? What secret does its crown of rings hide from the prying eyes of Earth? And why is its surface covered in a type of ice that shouldn't even exist in the deep cold? I am talking about a world of speed, a world of glass, and a world of ghosts. This is the story of Haumea, the cosmic bullet. Chapter 1. The 4-hour day. When we think of planets, our minds naturally gravitate toward the image of a sphere. Gravity, the master sculptor of the universe, loves symmetry. It pulls matter toward a central point until a world becomes a perfect, rounded ball. This is the hallmark of planetary status. But Haumea is a rebel against this fundamental law of the heavens. It doesn't look like a planet. It looks like a massive, elongated football, or perhaps a gargantuan, smoothed-over cigar hurtling through the vacuum. This bizarre shape is the direct result of a velocity that is almost incomprehensible. Haumea is the fastest-spinning large object in our entire solar system, a fact that challenges our very understanding of celestial mechanics. To understand this, we must look at the clock. A single day on Haumea, one full rotation on its axis, lasts less than 4 hours. To put that in perspective, in the time it takes you to watch a long movie and have a meal, an entire cycle of day and night has passed on this frozen world. This incredible speed creates a massive centrifugal force that fights against the pull of its own gravity. The planet is literally being stretched thin, pulled outward at its equator until it has become what scientists call a triaxial ellipsoid. If you were to stand on its equator, the force throwing you off into space would be nearly as strong as the gravity pulling you down. It is a world in a state of permanent, violent tension, a cosmic tug-of-war between the desire to hold together and the frantic urge to fly apart. If Haumea were to spin even slightly faster, the mathematics of physics suggest it would simply disintegrate, spraying its icy guts across the Kuiper Belt. It exists on the very edge of physical possibility, a spinning top made of millions of tons of rock and ice. This is a reminder that nature has a far greater imagination than we do. We expect stability. But the universe offers us a bullet made of ice, spinning so fast that its very geometry is a scream of kinetic energy. When we look at Haumea, we aren't just looking at a rock, we are looking at the frozen aftermath of a prehistoric disaster that set this world spinning billions of years ago and never allowed it to stop. Chapter 2. The Shimmering Shell. If the shape of Haumea is a marvel of physics, its surface is a miracle of chemistry. Most objects in the outer solar system, where the sun is little more than a bright star, are covered in amorphous ice. This is a messy, disorganized structure of water molecules that forms when water freezes instantly in extreme cold. It is dull, dark, and unremarkable, much like the soot-covered snow on a city street. But Haumea is different. Detailed observations from our most powerful telescopes reveal that the majority of its surface is covered in crystalline water ice. This is the same kind of structured, shimmering ice you find in your home freezer or on a frost-covered window pane. This discovery sent shockwaves through the scientific community. For one major reason, crystalline ice should not exist there. To maintain such a structured molecular arrangement, ice requires heat or specific conditions that allow the molecules to align. Yet Haumea sits in a region of space where temperatures rarely rise above minus 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Over millions of years, cosmic rays and the relentless bombardment of subatomic particles from the galaxy should have shattered those crystal structures, turning them back into a dull, amorphous mush. And yet, Haumea continues to shine like a polished diamond in the dark. This suggests that Haumea is not a dead, static rock. There is something happening either inside it or to it. Perhaps there are radioactive elements deep within its rocky core, providing a faint, ghostly warmth that migrates to the surface, keeping the ice fresh, or perhaps, more poetically, the planet is constantly resurfacing itself through a process of cryovolcanism, a living machine of ice that refuses to let the darkness of space dim its luster. To walk on Haumea would be to walk on a world of glass, where every step would crunch against a frozen sea of crystals, reflecting the distant light of a sun that is 4 billion miles away. It is a hauntingly beautiful vision of a world that shouldn't be, yet defiantly is. Chapter 3. The Great Cataclysm. Despite its shimmering white exterior, Haumea carries a dark, visceral secret. On its elongated surface, there is a massive, dark red blotch, a scar that breaks the pristine, glassy monotony of the ice. Scientists believe this area is rich in minerals and complex organic compounds, possibly exposed by a violent impact in the distant past. It looks like a deep bruise on the face of a king, a physical reminder of the celestial war that defined Haumea's existence. Billions of years ago, Haumea was likely a much larger, more traditional world, perhaps similar in size and composition to Pluto. It was a world of rock and thick layers of ice, orbiting peacefully in the newborn solar system. But then, the unthinkable happened. A massive object, perhaps another giant of the Kuiper Belt hundreds of miles wide, slammed into it at thousands of miles per hour. This wasn't a mere glancing blow, it was a cataclysm that stripped away much of Haumea's outer mantle, sending massive shards of ice flying into the void. This collision is the origin story of the cosmic bullet. It is what gave Haumea its frantic, dizzying spin. It was like a spinning top hit by a hammer, sent reeling into the darkness, losing its balance but gaining a terrifying new identity. This event created what astronomers call the Haumea family. Scattered throughout the outer solar system are dozens of smaller icy bodies that share the same orbital path and the same crystalline composition as Haumea. They are the children of this disaster-shattered fragments of a world that was torn apart. It reminds us that the universe is under no obligation to make sense to you. We want to see a history of slow, peaceful evolution. But Haumea's story is one of trauma and fragmentation. Every piece of ice in its orbit is a ghost of the planet it used to be, a fragment of a lost identity that refuses to be forgotten. Chapter 4. The Forbidden Rings. For a long time, we believed that rings were the exclusive jewelry of the giants. We thought only massive planets like Saturn, Jupiter, or Uranus had the gravitational muscle to hold on to a ring system. We assumed that small, rocky worlds were too weak and their gravity too unstable to maintain such delicate structures. Once again, Haumea proved our theories were too narrow. In 2017, as the Dwarf planet passed in front of a distant star, astronomers noticed something incredible. The star's light flickered briefly before and after the planet passed. Haumea has a ring. This ring is approximately 70 kilometers wide and orbits the planet at a distance of about 2,200 kilometers. It is a thin, ghostly halo made of dust and debris, likely the leftovers from that ancient collision we discussed earlier. But the presence of this ring raises a terrifying question of stability. How can such a small, irregularly shaped object maintain a perfect circle of debris? The math is incredibly complex. The uneven gravity of a cigar-shaped planet should, in theory, wobble the ring until it collapses or the particles are flung away into space. Yet, there it sits, a crown of dust for an exiled king. The Ring of Haumea is a testament to the hidden complexity of the deep solar system. It tells us that even the smallest actors on the cosmic stage can have features as grand as the giants. It challenges our definitions and forces us to rewrite the textbooks. We are beginning to realize that the further we go, the more the traditional rules of planetary science begin to melt away. The ring is a symbol of order born from chaos, a circle of debris held in place by the very speed that once tried to destroy the planet itself. Chapter 5. The Frozen Sentinels. Haumea is not alone in its long, cold journey through the outer dark. It is accompanied by two faithful sentinels, named after the daughters of the Hawaiian goddess Haumea and Namaka. These are not captured asteroids that happen to wander too close. They are pieces of Haumea itself, born from the same violent birth as the planet's spin and its rings. They are the largest shards of the Great Collision, forever bound to the parent body that they were once a part of. Hi'iaka, the outer moon, is a world of pure water ice. It is large enough and bright enough that it would be a celebrity of our night sky if it orbited a closer planet. Namaka, the inner moon, is smaller and caught in a complex gravitational dance with its sibling. Their orbits are not simple circles. They are eccentric and heavily influenced by the strange, lopsided gravity of their mother planet. The interaction between these three bodies is a masterclass in orbital resonance. These moons serve as scientific sentinels, guarding the secrets of the Haumea system. By studying their orbits, scientists can weigh Haumea and calculate its density. allowing us to peer through the ice and see the rocky heart within. They are the keys to the puzzle. As we watch them circle the spinning bullet, we realize that nothing lasts forever. Eventually, even the stars will run out of fuel and go out. But for now, this small family of ice and rock continues its rhythmic dance in the absolute silence of the Kuiper Belt. They are a tiny, self-contained ecosystem of gravity and motion, thriving in a place where we once thought life and movement were impossible. They remind us that even in the furthest reaches of the void, there is connection and enduring structure. Haumea is more than just a dwarf planet. It is a monument to the resilience of matter and the sheer unpredictability of the cosmos. In the face of devastating collisions and the soul-crushing cold of the outer void, it has transformed itself into something unique, a shimmering, spinning jewel that defies all expectations. It teaches us that beauty can be born from violence, and that even the most broken worlds can find a way to dance. It is a reminder that our solar system is not a finished project, but a dynamic, ongoing story of change. As we conclude this first chapter of our series, we must remember that our journey into the deep has only just begun. The Kuiper Belt is a vast frontier, a library of the solar system's earliest days. And Haumea is merely the first of many rebels we will encounter. It reminds us of our place in the grand design. Look up at the stars and not down at your feet. Try to make sense of what you see and wonder about what makes the universe exist. Be curious, for in the curiosity of the human mind, we find the bridge between our small lives and the infinite reaches of the cosmos. We often feel significant in our daily struggles, but worlds like Haumea provide a necessary perspective. It's a way for us to realize that we are just a speck of dust in the grand scheme of things. Yet we are a speck of dust that has the power to calculate the spin of a world billions of miles away. We are the eyes of the universe, looking back at itself, trying to understand the bullet that flies through the dark. But if you think Haumea is strange, wait until we dive deeper into the heart of our own system. Our next stop is a world that was once thought to be a twin of Earth, but hidden beneath its golden clouds is a nightmare of crushing pressure and lead-melting heat. A world where the sun rises in the west and the air itself is a weapon. Next time, we leave the frozen edge and head toward the burning heart. We are going to the morning star. We are going to Venus. But before we head back to the inner sun, our series on the 5 dwarf planets must continue. Which of these mysterious outcasts do you want to explore next? Should we visit the dark, frozen plains of Make-Make, the world named after the creator of humanity? Or should we venture to the massive, lonely realm of Eris, the planet that famously demoted Pluto? Cast your vote in the comments below. Make-Make or Eris? The destination is in your hands.